What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and today we're talking about, does Summoner suck in Shadowbringers? We're going to be talking about what I like, what I don't like, and what changes I wish they would make to the job in future updates. It's no secret that I'm a fan and I love the Summoner Scholar, and it's always been what I've ended up maining since 2.0 through the story. And so here we are, and in Shadowbringers, and I'm very disappointed in the job overall. There's a lot of good things they've done. I like the speed and mobility that we have with the job itself. I like how fast it is to be able to get into Bahamut and then get into Phoenix. Those things are really exciting. And plus it feels really cool with Bahamut and Phoenix and just feeling like we've got more in our toolkit. I also am a fan of the Eggy Assault changes as well. So I've kind of gotten into a nice little rhythm. I've been able to toss my Eggy Assaults over on my double cross hotbar. We put a video up on that already. And I feel like I can get a good weave with the skills and how they all kind of relate to overall my rotation. Essentially, as a summoner, my job or my rotation is still also a priority mix, because one of the things that I actually really enjoy is just the reliance on dots. Dots have a huge impact, especially on your ruins. In fact, if you don't have dots up, it's even more heavily weighted that you need those now. Now, I've always thought of Summoner as that dot class with Bio, with Miasma. Like, I've really enjoyed that aspect of the job, and it's only enhanced now with Ruin. Like, you want to make sure your dots are on, because that's going to have a greater impact on your Ruin 3 and Ruin 2 for, attacks. Substantially so. It's not insignificant by any stretch of the imagination. But that's something I like. I like I like Phoenix. I like the healing aspect of Phoenix. It just feels like, from a utility perspective, the job is really performing really well. You still have the ability to raise, and all of a sudden Phoenix comes out, and you're also having that ability for a healing aspect as well. When I'm just solo doing like Stone Sea Sky, it's funny to see that my overhealing's at 100% because of Phoenix in that regards. So it's still there, and it's pretty cool, but this kind of feeds right into what I don't like about it, and it's the timing, especially when you look at Tri-Disaster, with the reliance of it. When you look at it, I went and just slotted as much spell speed as I could on the job as a test, because one of the things we found is that you can, do Tri-Disaster, you can then go into your into your Dreadworm trance, and then you can keep, Tri-Disaster up to a point where it's got 15 or 20 seconds before you can reapply it, but then you can't also go into Phoenix, which will refresh it. If you could go right into Phoenix at that point, you could refresh it, and it's actually a problem solved. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But you end up having this weird 20 seconds where it's an important 20 seconds where you probably have to go put your dots on just so you don't negatively impact your ruins. Because if you're just ruining, you're literally ruining your DPS, really, at that point. And it's just this thing where you feel like if you could go into Phoenix, you could reapply it or not, because it's just on this weird timing. So I was like, what if I slot as much spell speed and the tests proved negligible? There wasn't any real sense of, like being able to do this. Now, the recast timer on Tri-Disaster is 50 seconds. The recast timer on the Dreadworm is 60 and Phoenix. So it ends up being in this, you get into the spot where it's just uncomfortable. And it happens quite a lot, especially in a long fight. And it doesn't feel good, because honestly, it would be nice to be able to drop off Bio and Miasma like on their own. You're like, I don't need it. I got Tri-Disaster, and it ends up being kind of on the idea of that speed, the thing that I like. And it just kind of slows you down all but briefly. And if you're not paying attention to your dots, it ends up hurting you and probably your party pretty drastically. But that's something I don't like. I miss Shadow Flare. I miss it. Same thing. I wonder if bards are out there missing Flaming Arrow, but I miss Shadow Flare very much. I always liked it. It's just a nice way to kind of set something on the ground. It has that slowing impact on the boss. So there was not just a damage aspect going out, but it was also that slow that kind of happened to it. So I miss that, kind of foundationally. But that's really kind of what I would change when you talk about what I don't like. And they fix the dot timings. That would be a huge addition to it. I think that would help it feel more natural. But I love the mobility. I love that, with the pet, I can have my pet be able to do their ability, and it's going to stack up various Ruin 4s for me. So then I can kind of just burst those out if I need to. And it ends up becoming kind of priority. Like if I know that there's going to be a lot of moving coming up, I might sit on that, do some Ruin 3s right now, be able to bust out my Ruin 4s, maybe then Dreadworm back into Ruin 3, and all the while doing that. So what else would I change about it? And I think it kind of like, it's not, I didn't include this in the I don't like it category because it's fine the way it is. I just wish they would have taken it to the next level. As a controller player with Bahamut, like I call out Bahamut and then I have Akmorn. Now Akmorn also upgrades, for Phoenix as well. And so it is this one ability, but I can't use my Eggy Assault 1 or 2 at all during this. And Overpower, I think that's what it's called, it upgrades as well for Phoenix, and I would have rather just maybe them use the Eggy Assaults for those upgrades. As a controller player, namely, I think that would have reduced the amount, some of the buttons that I need to have out there, especially like Akmorn. I have it on its own button when I just kept questioning, does it really even need to be on its own button? Like it's only available when Phoenix and Bahamut are out. So otherwise it ends up spending its time just kind of sitting there. And with some of the other abilities that do upgrade, it just felt like, man, I wish they would have just connected those as well. And so there is a little bit of bunny hopping that I do back and forth, or Viera hopping back and forth between the right and the left cross hopper on Summoner. And I've played around a lot with the layouts and things like that and haven't really found anything more comfortable. I'm going to keep playing with it. I'm going to keep playing Summoner. I love Summoner immensely. It is as it's been kind of my main DPS for a long time, but the changes obviously are there and the numbers show themselves what it is. It's nice to have the utility. It's nice to have the raise. It's nice to be able to put out some, healing as well as not just increasing the party's damage. But when you're looking at the raw numbers, I'm really excited to be able to kind of go hands-on with Black Mage sometime later this year, as well as Red Mage. Like, I haven't finished leveling Red Mage. That's something I'm going to be working on pretty soon after I finish Machinist and Monk. And then at that point, it's going to be fun to sit down and kind of compare all the casters. We'll probably see some updates coming to the job, as Savage rolls out, as we move into kind of the patch cycle series. We'll probably see some adjustments. Personally, I would love for them to bring back Shadow Flare. I don't know if they'll do the change with the upgrades from going to shifting it to the Eggy Assault, because those things are unavailable during Bahamut and Phoenix, but it is what it is with that. I do expect them to maybe do some timing adjustments. When we looked at and we did the tier list, it was really interesting to see kind of where summoners are falling, and they're not necessarily putting out a lot of DPS, but in dungeons they're doing a lot more, because obviously you have the AoE aspect, you have the Bane aspect, and I love the changes to Bane. I should have mentioned that. Like, Bane not costing an Aether Flow stack is immensely powerful. And somebody said, like, you should call it Aether Flow stacks. I'm always going to probably think of it as the Aether Flow stacks, but you have your Aether stack in that regards. But I like that change. I like that I have Energy Drain and Energy Siphon. That's really kick-ass. I really appreciate how that works. And I like, all of that feels good. Everything about that feels good. The timings, I feels like it's a little bit off, but the speed is fantastic. So that's me just summarizing what I just said over the course of this video. Guys, let me know what you think about Summoner. Does it suck? Does it rock? Are you? What do you want to see changed about it? Does it align with what I'm thinking, feeling, or whatnot? Just let's sound off in the comments below. Let's have that conversation. Anyway, for Work to Game, my name is Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Whoa, you guys are the best. Jorge, Kyle, Philip, 31 Edwards, Rock Druid, Corey Longwood, Aaron, Axis, Hambone, Lady Wild Plays, CN Navs, This Is Going Too Fast, Christopher, Phil, Shun, Dragons, Soul, Keen, Knights, Assassin, Carlos, Sherry, Robert, Leyland, Davon, Tim, Jojo World, Terrace, Sora, Scrublord, Trevor, Mill, Almond, 70s, Kimber, Tyler, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Cody, Legend, Carlos, Endless, Jonathan, Jade, Sai, Derek, Brandon, Aaron, Riku, Daryl, Chemistro, Lauren, The Wolf, the Gar, Kelly, Anthony, Solid, John, Huskray, oh my god, everybody, Dark Later, Christopher, Vestments, John, Nopi, Brian, Tom, Dylan, Silent, whew, I missed your names. I'm sorry. I love you all. Oh my gosh, that was tough.